You've been through storms, setbacks, heartbreaks, and moments where you almost gave up. But you're still here. You're breathing. You're standing. And that means your story is not finished. I don't care what happened in your past. It doesn't define your future. The world might have written you off, but I came to tell you, pick up that pen and start rewriting your story. Your life isn't a movie stuck on replay. You have the power, the grit, the faith to change the narrative. Every chapter that was filled with pain can become a testimony of strength. Every failure can become the foundation for your comeback. You gotta raise up above your excuses, above your fears, above the voice that say, I can. Stop waiting for perfect moments. Start creating powerful movements. Stop talking about what went wrong and start focusing on what you can do right now. You can't change the past, but you can change the way it ends. You are the author of your destiny. So write bold, dream loud, and live unapologetically. Today is not the day to quit. It's the day to raise up. Because when you rewrite your story, you rewrite your destiny. Listen to me. You can't rewrite your story until you face the truth about where you've been. Too many people spend their whole lives running from their past, acting like it never happened, hoping that if they ignore it long enough, it'll disappear. Well, here's the truth. Your past is not your prison. It's your preparation. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night, it all shaped you into the person standing here right now. The problem isn't your past. The problem is that you've allowed your past to own you instead of you owning it. You've let the things that broke you define you instead of refine you. You've let guilt, shame, and regret become the chains holding you back when they were meant to be the tools that built your strength. You see, the reason most people never rise up is because they're still kneeling before their past. They're still apologizing for who they used to be. They're still rehearsing the pain instead of releasing it. You can't rewrite your story if you keep rereading the chapter that hurt you. Some of you wake up every day carrying the weight of yesterday, dragging into today, and wondering why the future feels so heavy. It's because you haven't made peace with your past. You keep thinking that if you had done this differently or said that differently, your story would have been better. But hear me clearly. You can't fix what's already been written. You can only transform what comes next. Your past can either become the anchor that drowns you or the lesson that drives you. The choice is yours. The people who rise in life are ones who had perfect beginnings. They're the ones who took their broken beginnings and built powerful endings. Every champion has scars. Every success story has chapters filled with doubt, fear, and mistakes. You look at successful people and think they've always had it together. They've just learned how to own their past. They've stopped hiding from it, stopped being embarrassed by it, and started using it as fuel. They didn't let the pain make them bitter. They let it make them better. When you own your past, you take back control of your identity. You're no longer defined by what happened to you. You're defined by how you responded. And that's where power lives. Not in perfection, but in ownership. You got to get to a place where you can look at your past and say, yes, I did that. Yes, I went through that. Yes, I failed. But that's not who I am anymore. When you can face your reflection without running from your regrets, that's when healing starts. You can't conquer what you won't confront. The pain you keep avoiding is the very thing holding your power. You got to turn around and face it. I know it hurts. I know it's easier to bury it, to distract yourself, to pretend it doesn't matter. But until you deal with it, it will deal with you. Until you release it, it will keep writing your story for you. Your past is like a shadow. It follows you until you step into the light. And that light is called acceptance. Owning your past doesn't mean you're proud of it. It doesn't mean you agree with everything that happened. It means you acknowledge it, you understand it, and you refuse to let it dictate your future. Some of you keep saying, I wish I could start over. You can, but not until you stop denying what's already happened. You can't rewrite your story if you keep pretending the first chapters don't exist. You gotta pick up that pen and write from where you are, not from where you wish you were. The most powerful stories aren't the ones that start perfect. They're the ones that start broken. They're the ones that start broken and end redeemed. There's somebody listening right now who's been living under the weight of their past for too long. Maybe you made a mistake that cost you everything. Maybe you trusted someone who betrayed you. Maybe you hurt people. Maybe you hurt people. Maybe you hurt yourself. Your past is not a life sentence. You don't have to serve time in a story that's already over. The world might try to remind you of who you used to be, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. When you decide to own your past, you also decide to own your comeback. Every day you wake up is another chance to prove that your past doesn't define your potential. When you own your past, you strip it of its power to shame you. You take what was meant to break you and turn it into your breakthrough. You become the author, not the victim. You start using your story to inspire others instead of hiding in fear. You start seeing the purpose behind the pain. Because maybe, just maybe, everything you went through was preparation for what you're about to do. Maybe the reason you fell so hard is because the bounce back was meant to lift others too. Your pain might not be pretty, but it's purposeful. And if you can own it, you can use it to rewrite every chapter that comes next. Let me tell you something. You can't heal what you hide. Some of you have buried your past so deep that it's become a ghost haunting every dream you try to build. You keep wondering why success feels temporary, why peace feels out of reach. It's because you're building on top of unhealed foundations. You can't plant seeds of greatness in soil still with bitterness. You got to dig it up, deal with it, and then decide to grow. Own every mistake, own every failure, own every bad decision. Because when you own it, you can change it. When you take responsibility for your past, you also claim authority over your future. Ownership is power. When you say, yes, that was me, but that's not who I am now, you set yourself free. You're no longer defined by your failures, you're refined by them. You're no longer trapped by, you're transformed by it. You start to see that your past wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every disappointment, every delay, every detour was leading you somewhere greater. But you'll never see it until you stop running from it. You gotta look your past in the eyes and say, thank you, because without you, I wouldn't have found my strength. The truth is, life is going to throw pain your way, but it's your choice what you do with it. You can let it define you, or you can let it design you, or you can let it design you. You can let it make you bitter or make you better. You can stay stuck in the story that hurt you, or you can rise up and start writing the one that heals you. Your past might be ugly, but your future can be beautiful if you choose to own it. Don't let anyone else write your narrative. Don't let society tell you that you're done because of what you've been through. You got breath in your body. That means your story is still being written. So stop letting the old chapters dictate the ending. When you decide to own your past, you no longer fear it being exposed because you've already embraced it. You no longer let other people's opinions control you because you know who you are and who you're becoming. In the moment you take that power back, everything changes. You start to walk differently. You start to talk differently. You start to live like somebody who knows their value. You realize that the same past that tried to break you actually built the strength that's going to carry you to your next level. So I need you to do something today. Stop replaying the moments that broke you. Stop wishing you could go back. You can't go back, but you can go forward stronger. Own your past. Don't let it own you. Because your past is part of your story, but it's not the whole story. And if you're brave enough to face it, to forgive yourself, to learn from it, then nothing can stop you from writing the most powerful comeback this world has ever seen. You've been running from your story long enough. It's time to rise up and rewrite it. One word, one choice, one day at a time. Change the pen, change the power. That's the message I need you to understand today. For too long, you've been letting life, people, and circumstances write your story for you. You've handed over the pen without even realizing it. You've allowed the opinions of others to shape how you see yourself. You've allowed failure to define what you're capable of. And you've allowed fear to decide what chapters you're brave enough to start. But hear me, you were never meant to be a background character in your own story. You were born to be the author, the writer, the voice that determines where the story goes next. When you take the pen back, you take back the power. Some of you don't even realize how much control you've surrendered. You're living a life built on other people's expectations. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your past mistakes. You've been told what you can and can't do for so long that you stop asking yourself what you actually want. That's not living. That's existing in someone else's version of your story. Life gave you the pen the day you were born, but somewhere along the way, you dropped it. Maybe it was when you failed that exam, when that person walked away, when your dream didn't work out the first time. You started believing that maybe life writes itself, that maybe destiny's already set. But I'm here to tell you, destiny doesn't write your story. Your decisions do. Changing the pen means taking accountability. It means saying no one else is writing my next chapter but me. That's power. You see, it's easy to let life write for you. That way you don't have to take responsibility for what happens. If you fail, you can blame circumstances. If things don't work out, you can blame luck. But when you hold the pen, there are no excuses, just execution. You're the one deciding what happens next. You're the one choosing the words, the actions, the outcomes. And that's where true power begins. When you stop waiting for something to happen and you start creating it. Think about it. Every moment you make a choice, you're writing. Every time you get up when life knocks you down, you're writing. Every time you forgive when it would have been easier to hate, you're writing. Every time you take one more step toward your dream, even when no one believes in you, you're writing. The pen is not in life's hand, it's in yours. But the question is, are you brave enough to use it? Are you bold enough to write the story you actually want, not the one that's expected of you? See, the problem is some of you are afraid of what might happen if you actually take control. You've become comfortable blaming the world because that means you don't have to take responsibility for your potential. You're afraid of the pressure that comes with authorship. But I need you to hear this. You can't rewrite your story from a position of fear. You can't build greatness on excuses. If you want your life to change, you gotta be willing to change the author. The same pen that wrote chapters of pain can write pages of power. The same hands that made mistakes can build miracles. The same life that once felt hopeless can become a story of hope if you're willing to take control. Let's be real. Life is unpredictable. You can't control what happens to. You can control how you write about it. You can't stop the storms, but you can decide how you respond to them. Some people let pain write their story. Others use pain as ink to create purpose. The difference is ownership. You can let fear write a tragedy, or you can let faith write a testimony. You can let failure write regret, or you can let growth write resilience. The pen itself doesn't change. What changes is the hand holding it. And when you change the hand, you change the outcome. Every day, you wake up with a blank page. You might not control the first line. Maybe it starts with something you didn't expect. A problem, a loss, a setback. But you control how the paragraph ends. That's where your power lives. You can rewrite the direction, shift the tone, and create a new path. The most powerful authors in life aren't the ones who never face adversity. They're the ones who refuse to let adversity be the last line. You've got to learn to write through pain, to write through fear, to write through uncertainty. Because if you don't, someone else will, and they'll never write your story the way you were meant to. Changing the pen also means changing your mindset. You can't write a new chapter with an old attitude. You can't move forward while thinking like the person who failed last time. You've got to rewrite your inner language. Stop saying, I can't. Start saying, I will. Stop saying, it's too late. Stop saying, it's my time. Stop saying, what if I fail? And start saying, what if I fly? Words shape worlds. Every word you speak is another sentence in your story. Speak life, speak hope, speak vision, and watch how your story shifts. You've also got to protect your pen. Don't let toxic people write in your book. Don't let negativity edit your dreams. Don't let comparison cross out your confidence. Too many people let outsiders write their script. Someone told you you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not strong enough, and you believed it. You gave them permission to write on your page. But listen, their opinion is not your truth. Their rejection is not your ending. Take the pen back. Erase their words with your action. The greatest revenge is rewriting your story in successing. Sometimes taking the pen back means walking away from old environments. You can't keep rewriting your story in the same place that broke you. You can't heal where you got hurt. You can't grow where you're not valued. If you want to write something new, you got to surround yourself with people who speak life into you, not drain it out of you. You need people who remind you of your potential, not your past. You need people who help you write dreams, not doubts. Because the company you keep will either inspire your next chapter or erase it. And understand this, rewriting your story doesn't happen overnight. You don't flip one page and become a new person instantly. It's a process. Every day you're editing, learning, revising. You'll make mistakes. You'll write words you wish you could erase. But that's part of it. Growth isn't about writing a perfect story. It's about writing an honest one. You'll stumble, you'll fall, but as long as you keep writing, you're moving forward. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Write your truth in messy ink if you have to. What matters is that you keep turning the page. Here's what I've learned. The universe responds to authors, not victims. Life will meet you at the level of your intention. If you keep waiting for life to hand you something better, you'll be waiting forever. But when you decide, this is my story, and I'm not giving up till it's everything I dream, that's when things start shifting. Opportunities show up. People appear. Momentum builds. Because life moves for those who move. You can't hold the pen and stand still. You gotta write with motion, write with passion, write with faith that even if the chapter looks dark right now, the ending will be light. And let me say this, don't be afraid to start over. Starting over doesn't mean you fail. It means you're wise enough to try again differently. The best authors don't give up when the story gets messy. They rewrite. Some of the most powerful chapters come after the most painful pages. Don't throw the whole book away because of one bad chapter. Keep writing, keep believing. Because the moment you decide to take the pen back, the universe takes notice. Everything starts aligning with that new energy. When you change the pen, you change the power because you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop waiting for chances and start creating choices. You stop settling for what is and start reaching for what could be. You begin to realize that you were never powerless. You were just uninspired. And once you remember who you are, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not just writing words, you're writing legacy. You're not just rewriting your story, you're rewriting generations. Somebody's future strength depends on the courage you show today. So I'm asking you right now, whose hand is holding your pen? Is it fear? Is it regret? Is it what people said about you? Or is it you? Because until it's in your hands, your story will never feel like yours. Take it back. Grip it with confidence, write boldly, dream fearlessly, live intentionally. You are the author of your destiny, not your past, not your mistakes, not your critics, you. And when the world reads your story one day, they won't remember the parts where you stumbled. They'll remember how you rose. They'll see how you took control when life tried to write you off. They'll see how you changed the pen and discovered your power. Because that's what greatness is. Not perfection, but persistence. So raise up, grab your pen, and start writing the masterpiece your life was meant to be. Raise up and reignite your purpose. That's the call. That's the heartbeat of this moment. Because somewhere along the journey, you forgot who you were. Life happened. People changed. Plans fell apart, and slowly that fire inside of you began to fade. You stopped dreaming the way you used to. You stopped believing the way you once did. The passion that used to wake you up in the morning, the purpose that used to push you through the pain. It got buried under doubt, disappointment, and survival. But I came to tell you today that your fire is not gone. It's just buried. It's waiting for you to breathe on it again. It's waiting for you to raise up and reignite your purpose. You see, purpose is not something that disappears. It's something that gets covered. Life can throw so much at you that your flame gets suffocated by fear, by failure, by fatigue. But deep down, it's still there. That spark you had as a child when you believed anything was possible, it's still there. That strength you showed when you kept going through heartbreak and pain, it's still there. That voice that told you you were made for more is still whispering. You've just stopped listening. You've let the noise of the world drown out the sound of your own calling. And I need you to understand this. Your purpose didn't leave you, you left it. And the moment you turn back toward it is waiting with open arms, saying, welcome home. Too many people are alive, but not living. They wake up, go through the motions, chase money, chase approval, chase comfort, but they're empty inside. Because when you live without purpose, you live without power. Purpose gives your pain a reason. Purpose gives your struggle a direction. Without it, you start to drift. You lose focus, you lose discipline, and you start to believe that surviving is enough. But you weren't created to just survive. You were born to thrive. You were designed to create, to build, to lead, to inspire. There's something unique in you that the world needs. And until you raise up and reignite that purpose, the world remains incomplete. Purpose isn't found in comfort. It's forged in challenge. It's not discovered when everything's perfect. It's revealed when everything's broken. Sometimes it takes losing everything to find out what really matters. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to realize that the rock was a foundation all along. Every struggle you've been through wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The things that tried to destroy you were actually shaping you for your destiny. And now it's time to use that strength. It's time to rise, because when you rise, everything connected to you rises too. You have to understand, when your fire burns low, it's not a sign that you're done. It's a signal that you need to refuel. You've been pouring out for everyone else, but you stopped pouring into yourself. You've been showing up for everyone else's dreams, but you've been neglecting your own. You can't reignite your purpose if you keep giving your energy to things that drain you. You gotta take time to remember why you started. Go back to that vision, that dream, that reason that used to make you feel alive. It's not gone, it's waiting for your attention. What you feed grows, so start feeding your faith again. Start feeding your focus, start feeding your future. And don't think for 1 second that purpose is always glamorous. It's not about fame, it's about fulfillment. It's not about likes, it's about legacy. It's not about being seen, it's about being significant. Sometimes purpose will lead you into quiet places, lonely places, hard places. But that's where growth happens. You might not always see progress, but that doesn't mean purpose isn't working. The seed doesn't grow the day it's planted. It grows in the dark first. That's what you're going through. The dark season of development. Don't quit while you're being cultivated. Because once that light hits, once that moment comes, you'll realize that every hidden day had meaning. Raising up means making a decision to stop letting life happen to you and start making life happen through you. You've got to decide that you're done living beneath your potential. You've got to decide that no matter how tired you are, you're not done yet. Because the truth is, there's still more inside of you. There's still more to build, more to give, more to become. You can't let one season of loss convince you that your story is over. You still got chapters to write, and the pen is in your hand. But it all begins when you reignite that purpose. Sometimes purpose comes from pain. The thing that broke you off, it becomes the thing that builds you. The struggle you survive might be the message someone else needs to hear. That heartbreak might turn into healing for others. That failure might become the lesson that saves someone else from giving up. You see, purpose is never selfish. It's always about service. When you live in purpose, you stop asking, oh, what can I get? And start asking, oh, what can I give? You stop focusing on success and start focusing on significance. Because when your life impacts others, you create something that outlives you. That's what purpose really is. The fire that keeps burning long after you're gone. But you can't reignite that fire without friction. Friction is what creates spark. You've got to push yourself again. Challenge yourself again. Get uncomfortable again. You've been sitting in safety for too long. You've been hiding behind excuses, waiting for the right time. Let me tell you, the right time doesn't exist. The only right time is now. Every moment you wait, your fire fades a little more. You got to get up, even if it's hard, even if you're scared, because motion creates momentum. Once you move, the flame grows. Once you act, purpose responds. Stop waiting for motivation. Move first, and motivation will meet you halfway. You've also got to stop letting your failures define you. Failure is feedback. It's not a full stop, it's a comma, it's a pause in a sentence, not the end of the paragraph. Every person walking in purpose has a trail of mistakes behind them. The difference is, they didn't let the mistake become the message. They learned, they grew, they kept going. You can't let your past keep you from your passion. You can't let fear of failing again keep you from fighting again. The fire that once burned bright inside of you didn't die. It's waiting for your courage to bring it back to life. Reigniting your purpose also means reconnecting with your faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the process, faith in something bigger than you. Because purpose isn't always clear. There will be seasons where you can't see the whole path, only the next step. That's where faith comes in. Faith is believing that the fire inside of you is leading you somewhere meaningful, even when everything around you looks uncertain. You don't need to see the whole plan to take the next step. You just need to trust that the fire within you knows where to go. And hear me. When you raise up and walk in your purpose, not everyone will understand. Some people liked you better when you were dim because your light made them comfortable. But when you reignite, you'll start to make people uncomfortable. That's okay. Purpose isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. So don't shrink to make others feel safe. Don't apologize for the fire that's coming back. The world needs your heat, your energy, your light. Somebody is waiting for you to wake up to your potential. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You just forgot how powerful you are. Now is the moment to remember. Every time you've survived, every time you've rebuilt, every time you've refused to quit, that was purpose working even when you couldn't see it. You didn't lose your fire. You learned how to protect it. And now you gotta let it burn again. Not a small flame. I'm talking a wildfire. A blaze so bright that it lights up every dark place around you. A fire that gives warmth to others. A fire that shows the world what's possible when you decide to rise. So raise up, reignite your purpose. Stop waiting for permission to live fully. Stop doubting the gift that's already inside you. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your originality, your voice, your heart. This is your time to shine, to create, to love, to rise. You spend enough time in survival mode. Now it's time to step into significance. Your fire is ready. Your story is ready. You are ready. So breathe deep, stand tall, and let that fire roar. Because when you raise up and reignite your purpose, you don't just change your life. You change everything connected to it. Life is not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you rise. The seventh keynote, surround yourself with purposeful people, is one of the most powerful truths you'll ever live by. You see, every dream, every comeback, every rise starts not just within you, but also around you. The people you walk with will determine the direction you run toward. The energy you absorb, the habits you form, and the vision you hold will either be sharpened or shattered by the company you keep. If you truly want to raise up and rewrite your story, you must evaluate who's walking beside you. Because sometimes your greatest setback isn't your failure, it's your circle. You can't soar with eagles if you're surrounded by chickens. You can't rise to greatness if your closest voices keep telling you to play small. Too many of us are trying to build a legacy while surrounded by people who are comfortable living in mediocrity. And that's why your growth feels heavy. That's why your fire keeps dying. You're trying to ignite your dream while standing in a storm of negativity. Understand this. Your environment shapes your elevation. You can have the talent, the drive, and the dream. But if you're connected to people who don't see your vision, you'll start to doubt it yourself. There's power in proximity. You can't expect to think like a millionaire when you're spending all your time with people who complain about opportunity. You can't expect to develop a winner's mindset when your friends are comfortable being average. When you start surrounding yourself with people who have purpose, people who dream bigger, work harder, and refuse to quit, you'll start to level up in ways you never imagined. Energy is contagious. Discipline is contagious. Belief is contagious. That's why you need to be intentional about your circle. Stop spending time with people who drain your energy and start investing time with those who multiply it. Think about it. Every successful person you admire didn't rise alone. They rose with a team, a community, a circle of influence that pushed them higher. Iron sharpens iron. When you're surrounded by people who challenge your comfort, who don't let you settle for less than your potential, you begin to grow beyond limits. They won't let you give up on yourself because they see in you what you sometimes can't see. You need people who push you to the edge of your capabilities and remind you that you were built for more. Purposeful people don't just celebrate your victories, they also confront your excuses. Let's be real. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is outgrowing people. It hurts. It feels cold. You start questioning yourself. Am I becoming arrogant? Am I leaving people behind? But you're not leaving them. You're leading yourself forward. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people were part of your story, not your destiny. Don't let loyalty to your past cost you your future. You can still love people from a distance while protecting your purpose up close. If you want to raise up, you have to be okay walking away from anything that pulls you down. When you surround yourself with purposeful people, your perspective changes. Suddenly, late nights of grinding don't feel lonely. They feel alive. Conversations shift from gossip to growth. Plans shift from dreams to strategies. You start to talk about investments, mindset, leadership, purpose, and possibilities. These kinds of people won't let you waste time. They'll help you make time count. They won't let you stay comfortable. They'll keep you accountable. And that's where transformation begins, not in isolation, but in elevation through association. Sometimes the most important question you can ask yourself is, who's speaking into my life? Because words shape worlds. If the voices around you are full of doubt, fear, and limitation, then your vision will start shrinking to fit their comfort zone. But if your circle is filled with visionaries, people who speak faith, power, and progress, you'll start believing that nothing is impossible. The right people won't just tell you what you want to hear. They'll tell you what you need to hear. They'll hold you to your potential, not your pain. Let's talk about purpose for a second. Purposeful people live differently. They wake up with intention. They don't waste their days chasing validation. They spend them creating value. They think in terms of growth, service, and impact. And when you start walking with those kinds of people, your energy changes. You stop living by default and start living by design. You stop reacting to life and start leading your life. Purpose rubs off. It teaches you to move with clarity, to act with discipline, and to dream with faith. I've seen too many people with talent fall short because they refused to change their environment. They kept hanging around the same small-minded individuals, expecting big results. But you can't plant a seed for greatness in a field of negativity and expect it to grow. You have to uproot yourself from the soil of comfort and replant yourself in the soil of purpose. That's how transformation begins, by choosing to be around people who water your growth, not those who step on it. Surround yourself with those who remind you of your potential when you forget it. Those who tell you to keep going when you want to quit. Those who challenge you to think bigger, to believe stronger, to push further. If you look around and everyone in your circle is comfortable, it's time to find a new circle. Growth feels uncomfortable because it stretches you. But the right people will help you stretch in the right direction. And hear this, the people you choose to walk with will either accelerate your destiny or anchor you to your past. Every conversation either adds to your fire or dims your flame. So protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Your energy is the currency of your future, and you can't spend it on people who don't invest in your vision. You deserve to be surrounded by dreamers, doers, believers, and achievers, people who see greatness in you, even when you don't see it yourself. People who make you feel uncomfortable with being average, people who inspire you to live at a higher standard. That's how you raise up. Not just by changing your mindset, but by changing your environment. So, take a hard look at your circle today. Who's lifting you higher? Who's holding you accountable? Who's pushing you toward purpose? And who's quietly pulling you away from it? Because the truth is, not everyone who's close to you is connected to your calling. Some people love you, but they're not meant to lead you. Some people understand your past, but can't handle your future. Don't let familiarity keep you in places where faith is trying to move you out. Your circle should reflect your vision. If your dreams are bold, your friends should be brave. If your goals are massive, your team should be motivated. You can't expect to win champs with people who don't even show up for practice. Surround yourself with people who want to see you win as much as they want to win themselves. That's how purpose multiplies, through unity, accountability, and shared vision. When you start walking with purpose-driven people, everything in your life aligns differently. You start to see setbacks as setups. You start to interpret failure as feedback. You stop complaining and start creating. You stop comparing and start collaborating. That's the power of purpose in your circle. It turns survival into success and potential into performance. At the end of the day, raising up and rewriting your story isn't just about changing what you do. It's about changing who you do it with. You can't build a new story with the same old mindset and the same old influences. You need people who fuel your fire, not those who fan your fears. You need people who believe in the best version of you, even when you're still becoming it. So, choose wisely, walk intentionally, build your circle with care. And remember, if you want to fly, stop hanging around people who are afraid of heights. Surround yourself with purposeful people and watch how fast your story changes. Because the right people won't just help you rise, they'll help you stay risen. They'll remind you that you were born for greatness, built for impact, and destined to raise up. There comes a point in every person's life when the noise of the world becomes so loud that it starts drowning out their own voice. Turn your pain into power is about that moment. The moment when life breaks you, when dreams collapse, when trust fades, and when hope seems like a distant memory. It's about staying in that darkness and making a decision. Either you let the pain define you, or you use it to refine you. Every person who's ever achieved something meaningful in life has faced pain, but the difference between those who stay broken and those who rise is simple. Some people let pain destroy them, and others let it build them. You must be the latter. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers. It exposes what comfort hides. It shows you who you really are when the spotlight fades and the crowd disappears. It teaches you patience, humility, and strength. Lessons success can't always teach. When life knocks you down and your plans fall apart, you start discovering what you're made of. You learn how deep your roots go. You learn how much fight lives inside you. That's the hidden gift in pain. It strips away the unnecessary and reveals the essential. The truth is, pain is not the enemy. Pain is the messenger. It's telling you that something needs to change, something needs to grow, something needs to heal. But too many people try to run from it. They numb it, deny it, or distract themselves from it. They try to bury the hurt under busyness, laughter, or false confidence. But pain doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It just hides deeper. If you don't face it, it controls you. If you confront it, it frees you. Think about a diamond. Before it becomes something beautiful, it's just a piece of coal under pressure. The heat, the crushing, the intensity, that's what transforms it. The same goes for you. Every painful experience you've ever been through has the potential to turn you into something stronger, sharper, and more brilliant, but only if you let it. You can't become who you're meant to be without pressure. You can't discover your power without pain. You can't raise up without being broken down first. The world is full of people who gave up because the pain felt too heavy. They thought the pain was a sign to stop, but in reality, it was a signal to grow. You gotta stop seeing pain as punishment, as preparation. Every setback, every heartbreak, every rejection is not there to destroy you. It's there to shape you for your purpose. The struggle is your sculptor. The hardship is your hammer. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary. When life hurts you, don't ask, oh, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Because if you can find the lesson in the pain, you can find the strength to rise above it. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Every pain has a purpose, but it's up to you to find it. You can't rewrite your story if you keep rereading the chapter where you were hurt. You've got to turn the page. You see, pain will introduce you to parts of yourself that peace never could. It'll show you how much faith you have left when there's nothing else to hold on to. It'll show you how much fight you've got when quitting seems easier. It'll show you that strength doesn't come from never falling. It comes from standing back up again and again. When you turn your pain into power, you stop waiting for life to be easy and start becoming the person who can handle anything. Everyone loves the victory, but not everyone can handle the valley. That's where the real transformation happens. That's where you develop character, discipline, and determination. Pain builds the foundation of greatness. If you can endure it, you can evolve through it. Every scar tells a story not of defeat, but of survival. Every tear you've cried was watering the soil of your future strength. Every disappointment was redirecting you toward your destiny. Maybe life broke your heart. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe your dreams didn't work out the way you planned. But hear this, you're still here, you're still breathing. That means your story isn't over yet. Pain tried to stop you, but it failed. You got another chance to use that same pain as fuel. You got another opportunity to let the fire inside you burn brighter than the fire around you. When you start seeing pain as a part of your process, you stop resenting it. You start respecting it. You begin to realize that every great story includes struggle. Every champion carries a history of hardship. Every leader was once a learner who failed and fell before they rose. Pain gives you empathy. It gives you depth. It teaches you how to connect, how to understand, how to lead with heart. Without pain, you wouldn't appreciate joy. Without loss, you wouldn't value love. Without struggle, you wouldn't recognize strength. But make no mistake, turning pain into power isn't automatic. It's a choice. It's waking up every day and deciding that your past won't control your future. It's choosing to find purpose in the process, even when it hurts. It's refusing to let bitterness grow where breakthrough is supposed to bloom. You can either become a victim of your pain or a victor through your pain. It's the decision that changes everything. And sometimes that process feels lonely because not everyone will understand your pain. Not everyone will see your fight. But that's okay. Your pain isn't meant for their understanding, it's meant for your becoming. The people who doubted you will eventually see that the pain they thought would break you only built you stronger. They'll see that the same struggle that humbled you also prepared you. When life hits you hard, you have two options: surrender or stand up. Or stand up. You surrender, you stay in the same place. But if you stand up, if you decide that your pain will push you forward instead of holding you back, you begin to rise. You start to find strength in the storm. You begin to realize that the power you've been searching for has always been inside you. So how do you turn your pain into power? You start by forgiving, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You start by learning, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You start by moving, even when you're scared, even when you're tired, even when you're unsure. Progress doesn't always look like confidence. Sometimes it just looks like not giving up. Pain is temporary, but the lessons it leaves behind last forever. One day you'll look back at what broke you and realize it built you. One day, the same thing that made you cry will make you strong enough to help someone else stand. That's the power of pain. It not only transforms you, empowers you to transform others. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Your comeback becomes someone else's hope. Don't run from your pain. Don't silence it. Don't hide from it. Face it. Own it. Use it. Let it mold you into something unshakable. Let it remind you that no matter how bad things get, you can always rise again. The pain you feel today can become the strength you use tomorrow. So when you wake up feeling broken, remember this. Pain is not your prison. It's your platform. It's the fire that forges your faith, the test that reveals your truth, the storm that strengthens your soul. You're not weak because you've been hurt. You're powerful because you survived it. You got a story that's still unfolding, and every painful chapter is leading to a greater purpose. Turn your pain into power by refusing to let it define your limits. Let it drive you to become better, wiser, and stronger. Let it fuel your hunger to grow, to give, and to make a difference. The same pain that once made you question your worth can become the reason you discover your purpose. And when you rise from it, when you use your scars as strength, you'll realize that your pain was never the end of your story. It was just the beginning of your rise. There is a moment in life when everything feels uncertain, when your plans fall apart, when the path ahead looks blurry, and when fear whispers that you're not enough. The sixth keynote to believe before you see is about faith, that invisible fire inside you that keeps burning when everything else fades. It's about trusting the process when there's no proof, holding on to your vision when no one else can see it, and walking forward even when you don't know where the road leads. Because true belief isn't about what you see with your eyes. It's about what you know in your heart. You have to believe before you see, because belief is the seed of every miracle, every victory, and every breakthrough. The truth is, most people wait until they see results before they start believing. They wait until they have success before they start acting successful. They wait for proof before they commit. But that's not how greatness works. Every dreamer, every innovator, every champion had to believe before there was evidence. They had to trust that something inside them was real, even when everything around them said otherwise. The belief comes first. The results come later. You can't wait for the world to validate your vision. You have to validate it with your faith. When you believe before you see, you give life permission to respond to your conviction. You start acting differently, thinking differently, moving differently. You start to carry yourself like someone who already has the victory, and the universe takes notice. You attract opportunities because your energy aligns with what you expect. It's not magic, it's mindset. What you believe determines how you behave, and how you behave shapes what you become. But believing isn't always easy. It's hard to believe when your dreams are delayed, when doors keep closing, and when life keeps testing your patience. It's hard to believe when everyone else doubts you, when you fail more times than you can count, and when your heart is tired from trying. Yet that's exactly when belief matters most. Not when it's easy, but when it's hardest. Because belief is not just a thought, it's a decision. It's a decision. It's saying, I can't see it yet, I know it's coming. Even though the world says no, I'll keep saying yes. You see, faith and fear are both invisible, but only one builds your future. Fear tells you to wait until everything is perfect before you move. Faith tells you to move so things can become perfect. If you wait until you see the path before you start walking, you'll never take the first step. Belief creates the path. The road reveals itself as you move. That's the secret to rewriting your story. You have to trust the process before you understand. Every great story of success began with someone believing when no one else did. When Thomas Edison was told he failed thousands of times, he said, I didn't fail. I found thousands of ways that didn't work. That's belief. When Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television, she didn't stop believing. She created her own space. When Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, he didn't lose faith. He came back stronger and changed the world. These people didn't need proof. They became the proof. They believed first and the evidence followed. When you stop believing before you see, you stop letting the outside world control your inside world. You stop letting circumstances dictate your confidence. You stop needing validation from others to move forward. You understand that the power to create your future has always been inside you. That's what belief does. It liberates you from fear, from doubt, from limitations. It tells you that you don't need to have it all figured out to take the next step. You just need to trust that the step will matter. Think about a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't see the harvest right away, but he still plants. He still waters. He still believes. Why? Because he knows that even though the soil looks empty, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. That's how belief works. You might not see progress right now, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Your effort, your discipline, your consistency, it's all building something you can't yet see. The roots grow before the fruit shows. And sometimes you'll have to believe alone. You'll have to stand in faith when everyone else walks away. You'll have to keep speaking life over your dream when it feels lifeless. You'll have to clap for yourself when no one else is clapping. But that's where true belief is born. In solitude, in silence, in the shadows of uncertainty. You've got to stop waiting for people to see your vision and start walking like it's already real. Because when you believe before you see, you don't just wait for miracles. You create them. There's a saying, seeing is believing. But in truth, believing is seeing. When you believe, your mind begins to find evidence that aligns with your faith. You start noticing doors that were always there but hidden by doubt. You start meeting people, discovering opportunity, and realizing strengths you didn't know existed. Your reality expands to match your belief. That's the power of perspective. What you believe becomes what you perceive, and what you perceive becomes what you achieve. Belief isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about trusting that even in imperfection, there's purpose. It's about understanding that setbacks aren't signals to stop. They're setups for strength. It's about knowing that delay doesn't mean denial. Just because you haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. You gotta hold on long enough for your breakthrough to catch up with your belief. Most people quit not because they can't achieve it, but because they stop believing right before it happens. Sometimes the distance between where you are and where you wanna be is one moment of faith, one decision to keep going, one a yes in a world full of a no's.